So America, you know, I've had anybody who knows me well knows that I've had a 360 on charter schools. Well, not really a 360, that'd be a circle, so it's really a 180 flipped, right? But here is the news. The charter school movement has been expelled from Washington State's public education system with a Supreme Court ruling, the state Supreme Court, last Friday, that privately run schools are not public under the state's constitution, meaning the quick fix for the sizable hurdle sought for by charter schools, prominent, charter schools proponents, a special legislative session does not appear likely because Washington's public education sector is embroiled in more controversial and larger battles. So as public schools open up, and they've opened up for the past couple weeks, teachers at the largest district, Seattle, might strike. So there's a teacher strike actually happening right now, which they've got to deal with, right? And there's a lot of other things. They've got to sort of fix the budget hole. They've got a lot of things they've got to do. And so what they're saying is, right now the Supreme Court's saying, charters don't work because they're not open to everybody. Now here's the truth on charters. And you know me, I really don't talk about education very much on the show. But I'm going to keep this very brief. So for all these gains that people talk about charters, oh, charter schools are making all these gains. Oh yeah, the gains. Oh, look at the gains. The kids are getting all these gains. Oh yeah, they're doing just so great, so good. Yeah, they're incredible. Charter schools, yeah. The truth of the matter is, if you look at it on the grand scheme of things, charter school versus public schools, you're talking about a 1% marginal increase over time. Nothing. Statistically insignificant. Nothing. Small. Little. Right? Number one. Number two, in many of these states, charter schools are completely and totally unregulated. It's a wild, wild west. They can do whatever they want to do. They have crazy, harsh discipline policies. They can expel kids for, talking back to the teacher. Right? And I mean, you look at the state of Ohio, where you've had charter schools go down with fraud. Fraud! It's not as good. Listen, just because it glistens does not mean it's gold, folks. Now, I think that there is a place for charter schools, and when they were created by Al Schenker, right, it was the idea that you would create charter schools, they would create innovations, and bring those innovations back to traditional public schools. Now they've become this idea of how can we privatize public schools, how can we commoditize public schools, which is why, case in point, who's charter school's biggest funder? Ask yourself. The number one company when it comes to commodities. You guess. Just guess. Wait for it. I'm waiting. Walmart. The Walton Family Foundation is the biggest funder of charter schools. Why? Because they're part of this mantra of let's commoditize kids. Let's cash in on them. Make big bucks on kids. But in Washington State, the Supreme Court has said, no, thank you, ma'am, bye, Felicia. And this is what they said in their decision. I'm going to read this and I'm going to get out of here, right? However, it is difficult to separate some of these issues from the court's analysis. So basically, she says, this is written by the Chief Justice. Not concerned with the merits or demerits of charter schools. However, it is difficult to separate some of these issues from the court's analysis of whether charters can be considered public schools under the state constitution and previous court precedent where the core issue is what is a public school. Right? If you have to put your name in a lottery to get in, I don't think that's necessarily public. Right? Like we select who we want, whether it's via you self-select out or other things.